Hello, Brian. I wanted to take a moment to answer the statement that you placed concerning employees. Let me read it and then we'll jump into it and chat for a little while. Emerson, I think employee retention is such an undervalued concept with a lot of organizations today. I think that it is difficult. Give me a moment. Let me turn down Day here real quick. I get it that it is difficult to get a person to stay at one job for an extended period of time and probably unrealistic to expect 100% of the people to stay on. But if a company takes the time and money up front to train a person and get them to buy into their system and way of business and make them feel like they are making an impact on a daily basis, then they are going to want to stay. Not only that, but it saves the company money by not having to recruit and train new people all over again. On top of that, their bottom line also improves as happy employees lead to happy customers. This is something that I think needs more attention. Have you read Hug Your Customers by Jack Mitchell? If not, I highly recommend it. It's obviously aimed more toward the customers aspect, but also touches on empowering employees. Let me start by saying that I agree that employees should be valued. I agree that employees should be led by competent leadership. I have the utmost respect for employees simply because I spent 31 years leading the sons and daughters of America in and out of combat. One of the things that we always said was mission first, but people always. Because without the people, you cannot accomplish the mission. Without the mission, you don't need the people. So, that being said, let me take a moment to break down why, in this instance, the structure of my corporation needs very, very few employees, and none of those employees need to be tradesmen. Here's the reason. Well, here's one of several. Number one, when you send a tradesman to a customer's home, they are looking for an outstanding result. They don't want their house to be a training ground for a tradesman. They want outstanding results. And when you're starting off a business that employs a lot of tradesmen, number one, the equipment that you have to maintain is very expensive. Trucks, saws, hammers, nails, roofing materials, electrical materials, the wood, the rock, the concrete. the expenses to maintain all that equipment and to store all of that material is mind-boggling. However, how can I get tradesmen who are at the top of their game to service my customers? Not tradesmen who are learning their game, but tradesmen who are at the top of their game. Because keep in mind, when customers call 24 Karat Custom Homes Construction and Landscaping, and they write me a check, and they say they write me a check for $40,000. Emerson, I want a pool in my backyard. I needed to have lights. I needed to shoot jets up in the air. I wanted to have music around. I wanted to, I want a built-in outdoor patio. Those customers, they're looking for a top-of-the-line product. And if you don't provide a top-of-the-line product, because you got tradesmen who are in training, they did their best, but they're in training, or they didn't have the right materials, or they didn't have the right equipment, or whatever. When that customer has already written you a check for $40,000, $60,000, $75,000, and you do not provide the top quality result that they're looking for, you are going to end up in trouble financially. You're going to end up possibly in trouble legally, because people love to sue. Or they can actually go to the Attorney General or the DA and file a suit against you for deceptive business practices or whatever else. Trust me, this game out here ain't no joke. So if you're trying to build a top quality business model from day one, I'm not talking about you trying to build years of starting off small and slowly building. I got that. See, two of the things that you mentioned here was if you want to spend the time and the money on an employee to do what you're talking about. Okay, so you're talking about what? Sending them to trade school and then starting them off on small projects, and then as they get experience, move on up to bigger projects. That takes a whole lot of time. It takes a whole lot of expense. Now, if you're a little mom and pop organization, that's no problem. You can do that. But if you're an organization where you're getting calls from, like I work with the Tigua Indian tribe, who I may get a call from them and say, hey, Emerson, we're building a 17-floor ambulatory clinic. We need you to handle the heating and AC. We may need you to handle the plumbing. We need you to handle the landscaping. They don't have time for you to do all of the stuff that you're talking about. That is why it is better for my business model to subcontract to companies that are already on top of their game. By doing that, these companies, see, I do my research. I go on the Better Business Bureau. I check out what their reputation is in the business community. They already have a functioning, working system in place. And oftentimes, you have leaders in those companies who are experts in that field. In other words, when I call Solar Smart Living to come and install a solar system, solar energy system on someone's home, you're talking about a company that's led by an engineer. Okay, so do you think that me, if I had those same workers working for me, that I would be able to give them the same leadership and guidance as an engineer? I can tell you the answer is no. There, even though I do have some knowledge of electricity, I'm not an engineer. So I would not be able to lead that group of individuals who installs solar energy on people's homes the way somebody who that's all they do all day, every day would. That allows them to specialize. Whereas I operate like in the military, you have what's called MOSs, military occupational specialties. So when we need soldiers to shoot planes out of the sky, we call the air defense. When we need soldiers to blow up cities and towns with mortar shells, we call what do you call it, people? Artillery. When we need people to fight air-to-air combat, we send in the Air Force or Navy or sometimes even Army fighter pilots. We send in specialists, and those specialists come from a group of people who that's what they specialize in doing. Now, you may be a general on a post, but when you get ready to deal with certain aspects of combat, you call in the specialist. That is what I have done, and that's why I have subcontractors instead of employees. I don't need to be leading those people. I don't have the skill sets to do that on the ground, upfront leadership. And by working with companies, the top of the line companies in the different industries in which I operate, I effectively eliminate them as competition. So instead of Solar Smart Living viewing me, who is also doing solar installations, as the enemy, I'm a business partner. My so-called competition is actually out making me money. Same thing with construction contractors. Same thing with HVAC. Same thing with electrical contractors. I have the top of the line companies working with me as business partners instead of as competitors. Last but not least, by having subcontractors instead of employees, you avoid paying salaries. You avoid paying benefits. You avoid having to pay insurance for their equipment. The company that you subcontract is responsible for all of those things. You avoid all of those things, but you take advantage of the fact that all of those things are in place. So if you're trying to grow quickly, subcontracting is the route to go. Does it require a an additional amount of, I don't want to say leadership, because leadership is not the proper word for what I actually do. I don't lead those companies. What I do is I influence them based on common interests. Because those companies can decide at any given time, you know what, we don't want to work with Emerson anymore. And there's nothing that I can do about it. We're not doing any more projects for Emerson. There's nothing that I can do about it. There would be nothing that I could do. If all of the solar subcontractors banded together and said, you know what, Emerson is out of the solar energy business, then there's nothing that I could do about it other than try to find somebody else. And if there were nobody else that I wanted to work with, then effectively I'm out of the solar energy business. But why don't they do that? Why they don't do that is why I'm in this course. Most tradesmen love their trade. If their trade is building rock walls, mentally they want to wake up every morning and focus on building rock walls. If their trade is installing solar energy, they want to wake up every morning and focus on installing solar energy. Let me tell you what they don't want to do. They don't want to be installing solar energy and trying to figure out, how do I find my next customer? That is what they don't want to do. That is what the majority don't have the skill to do. And worse than that, there are so many criminal organizations out here, like Home Advisor, that take contractors and tradesmen and they just shear them like sheep. There are so many organizations who have a negative ROI, return on investment. Here you are out here trying to be the best solar energy installation company you can be. You're trying to satisfy your customers. You're trying to reach other customers, trying to reach more customers. And then here you have a company like Home Advisor charging you for fake leads, charging you for leads that they've already sent to 10 other people. Just to give you an example, I've had Home Advisor. And believe me, when I tell you about stuff, I ain't telling you what I think, I'm telling you what I know. I've had Home Advisor when I was a young company, just getting in the game, didn't know no better. And I signed up with Home Advisor. I had them charge me for a roofing job in an apartment building, supposedly by a tenant. Now, I want you to think about that. Do you really believe that a tenant in an apartment building is going to put a roof on the whole building? Is a tenant in an apartment building actually going to put a roof over their own apartment? The answer is no. But companies like Angie's List, Home Advisor, which my understanding is that Home Advisor bought Angie's List, criminal companies like that run contractors and tradesmen in the ground. is what makes room for a company like mine, where I do all of those things: install pools, landscaping, construction. I'll build anything from a doghouse to the White House. If you want a water system in your house, you name it. I have found the best tradesmen in each trade, and a customer can come to one place: 24 karat custom homes construction and landscaping. They don't have to worry about getting ripped off. They don't have to worry about, are reputable and skilled tradesmen going to show up at my home? The tradesmen don't have to worry about running into crooks like Home Advisor and Angie's List and getting taken to the woodshed. So I'm the first person to agree with you that we need to take care of employees. But that doesn't necessarily mean that those employees need to be on your payroll. See, I take care of employees, but I take care of employees who work at other companies by providing them with customers. And by doing that, those employees are able, by providing those companies with customers, now their employees are able to get paychecks, are able to get health insurance, dental insurance, eye insurance, all of that. All of that. That is why I am studying for a master's degree in marketing. Not because I need another degree. I've got enough titles, believe me. Oh my God. I got enough titles to never have another title attached to my name, ever. Trust me. Just trust me on that. So it's not about another degree. It's about the knowledge. Because I have learned one thing in the business world that trumps all. That is getting a customer. That's why I'm in marketing. I'm already a master closer. I can sell ice to an Eskimo. But you got to figure out where the Eskimos are before you can sell ice to them. How to do market segmentation and all of those different things. That's why I am in marketing. So I can focus on getting a customer. Because if you can get a customer, and guess who has proved that above and beyond anything that you can possibly imagine? Jeff Bezos, Amazon. Jeff Bezos doesn't make balloons, but you can go on Amazon and order balloons. You can order a golf cart. You can order anything almost. Almost anything you could possibly imagine. You can go to one place, Jeff Bezos. So is Jeff Bezos taking care of employees outside of Amazon? Absolutely. Absolutely. But Jeff Bezos, do you think that it would be better if Jeff Bezos bought up all of the hundreds of thousands of companies that he sells their product and tried to run them? Do you think that would be a better model? I don't think so. I think it's better for him to leave that little company in Missoula, Mississippi that makes golf balls. Let somebody that focuses on building and making golf balls run that business. And only thing Jeff is going to do is say, hey, Here's some customers that need golf balls. So I don't want you to get the impression that I'm against employees. I love employees. I was an employee most of my life as a soldier in the United States Army from the age of 17 to the age of, what was I, about 46, 47 when I retired? Yeah, maybe 48. It was a while. It was 31 years. So 17 plus 31. That's how long I spent in the military. Um, so understand that I love employees, but as a leader, sometimes you need to know where your skill sets lie. And if someone can do a task better than you, let them do it. An electrical tradesman would probably be better led by somebody else that's in that type of a game, somebody with those type of skills, or an electrical engineer or whatever. So I look at those companies that have exceeded the market average, that they're better, they're the cream of the crop, and I keep them gainfully employed. I thank you for taking the time to answer, to give me an answer in the first place. Um, and I respect everything you said, and that's the reason why I took this extra step to share in a video exactly why I made the decisions to cut out. Now I've got one or two employees, but for the most part, all of the tradesmen, the people who lay cement, the people who install solar, do pools and all of that is subcontracted to people who run those companies who have been doing that. Most of them, they learned following their fathers around. They've been doing this for longer, some of them longer than I've been alive on this earth, and I'm 52 years old. So I leave that specialty to the specialist. That's the reason I made the decisions that I made. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate it. God bless you. And hope to see you on additional courses as we travel through this paradigm together. God bless you, brother.